Like I say, there's a lower and a higher self within all of us. The lower self is this animal self that's very much wanting immediate pleasures, that takes the path of least resistance, that wants everything easy and simple and fast. But within all of us, part of our nature is a higher self, a self that is disciplined, that gets things done, that is able to work in a group with other people, that feels empathy for others. This is a potential within all of us. It is part of our nature. It is deeply wired within us. But that higher self takes effort. It doesn't come naturally or easy to us. So, for instance, one of the forces that we're talking about that I think is very powerful, that I talk about in the book, is empathy. I know it's a word that gets used a lot, and I try and define it in a more kind of practical way, bring it down to earth and sort of show you where empathy originated. But as we evolved as a species, the ability to take the perspective of other people, to get inside their mindset, to understand how they are feeling, their moods, was very critical survival skill. And I maintain that before the invention of language, our ancestors had an almost telepathic ability to understand the moods and emotions of other people around them. Empathy is a very powerful force within us that is a potential. And the problem is that it's something that is like a muscle that atrophies, that we don't use very much, and that needs to be brought out. So sort of the easy animal parts of our nature, like the fact that we feel envy or that we react emotionally, that doesn't take any effort. That just comes to us naturally. But the ability to be rational, which is part of our nature, which is a potential, or the ability to feel empathy, requires effort and awareness and consciousness. The point I'm trying to make, that I think is not really popular in our culture today, is that all of us are narcissists. It's in our nature to be self-absorbed, and part of that is the need that we have at a very early age to develop some kind of self-love, some kind of self-esteem that protects us from a harsh and very competitive world. So we are all on the scale of narcissism. We are all, to some degree, self-absorbed. And I like to make it almost like a watermark, where at sort of the halfway point is kind of the difference between our self-absorption and becoming aware of other people and being able to be empathetic. And at the high point, let's say at the point 100, would be complete empathy with other people, the complete ability to get inside their mindset. And at 0 would be total self-absorption. And most of us are sort of above that 50% mark. We are able to get outside of ourselves at moments and get inside other people and understand them to some degree. But then some moments we sink below that 50% mark when we feel depressed or if there's some kind of trauma in our life, and we tend to become self-absorbed, so we fluctuate. But a deep narcissist is someone who is always below that level, who can never rise above. They have probably suffered some kind of deep wounds in early childhood. They never were able to develop that kind of self-love that protects people. So I maintain we humans desperately need validation and recognition and attention from other people. We're meant as humans to be, we're a social animal.
Yeah.
We're not meant to be so atomistic, to be kind of balkanized like the way we are now.
Yeah.
We were designed to be completely social. And to the sense that we can heal ourselves, it is in the ability, this is an idea from Adler more than anything, this what he called social interest. And he judged a person as healthy by their degree of social interest, by their ability to have their interest applied to other people, to society, to the group. That is, I believe, our ideal. But it doesn't come easy or naturally, particularly in this world. It is a struggle. But by the fact that you're aware, I want to make the reader aware that you're a narcissist, so you don't get to escape this and think that you can just be who you are and that you're naturally healthy. I want you to be aware that it's a struggle, that you must work at this, that you must overcome your own tendencies towards being self-absorbed. The problem that we humans face is that we don't seem to be born with this purpose. Like today I wake up and I could play golf, although I don't play golf, or I could get drunk, or I could try and start writing my novel, or I could just go watch a movie, or I could read a book. Nothing tells me what I have to do, you know? There's no direction in life. And I feel that that is what causes a deep degrees of pain in people, the sense that they have no natural direction in life. What guides me towards this career? What guides me towards having this partner in my life? Why am I doing this instead of that? And that sense of swimming in the sea of possibility, of being able to do anything, can create deep wells of depression and pain in people. And, you know, an animal has a built-in sense of purpose. They know who they are. A tiger is a tiger. A dog is a dog. We don't know what we were intended to do. But I maintain that we do have a sense of purpose, actually, but it's hidden. We have to discover it. It doesn't come immediately apparent to us when we're suddenly 21 years old and we enter the work world. It actually involves a process. But if you can discover this sense of purpose, I call it a form of internal radar. It now gives you a sense of direction and a sense of channeling your energies. This is where I should go, not wasting my time over there. It gives you concentrated energy and force, and it's an extremely liberating and beautiful thing to discover that sense of purpose. Once you have it, everything kind of falls into place. You're able to prioritize your life. And a lot of young people, particularly nowadays, are really, really suffering in this way because in some ways, like with the internet, you believe that this whole feast is opened up in front of you, that you can learn anything that you want, that you could become this or that, or, you know, tomorrow I could study online and become, you know, a great psychologist or something, whatever it is. But, you know, it's not true. It's not true that you can become anything. You only have a limited amount of time and a limited amount of energy. And that sense of purpose comes from the fact that you have to be aware of what makes you different. I was very much taken by a phrase that Maslow used in that book that I mentioned. He calls it impulse voices. And what he meant by impulse voices is an infant knows that it likes this particular food and it eats it and it enjoys it. It's an impulse voice saying, this is what I like, what I love. And when we're young, we feel these voices. They say, I love, you know, playing sports. I love music, etc. And what happens is most people, as they get older, lose that impulse voice. They no longer know what they like or what they dislike. They only know what other people like and dislike, and they're conforming to that. Oh, that kind of movie or entertainment is cool. I better like it. Whereas, in fact, it may not be natural or authentic to you. You have impulse voices. They were telling you when you were 3 or 4 what you naturally love, what you gravitate towards, what is an intellectual area that you should be moving towards. And I don't mean just intellectual. It could be working with your hands or working with other people, etc., or sports or physical activity. You know, I'm very much taken in by Gardner's book, The 5 Frames of Mind, that there are 5 forms of intelligence, that every person has a natural bent towards one of these forms of intelligence. And you need to connect to that. That voice is deep within you. It's an impulse voice. It's telling you, you know, what makes you different, what makes you special, what makes your energy different from other people's energy. And that is your internal radar system. You know, the Oracle of Delphi, the main font of wisdom was know thyself. So the ability to know who you are, what makes you different, what makes you unique, is to me the key towards fulfillment in life. And so, you know, I sort of describe a way to discover that path, to discover those impulse voices later on when they're drowned out by other things and get closer to it. But it's also a matter of not listening so much to your parents, to other people, and getting in tune with what makes you different and unique and following that path.